Hello, Star Lovelies. It's a great time to be a soul. Today we're talking about.
Okay, we're going to have so much fun in this episode. It's going to be a little bit crazy. So I ended up needing new luggage. I've had my luggage forever and I'm enough, right? So think about it. Think about where the energies are. It's like new and we've hit the reset button and it's the wake up call and everything. And I've been kind of dragging my feet on it. And that's one thing about me. It's like, yeah, I need something and I don't necessarily want to spend money on luggage, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, whatever, but I need it. So great. So I went in and looked at stuff and I was like, oh my God, what the hell do I get? And what's the best and all the things. So I got to tell you, AI on top of Google for me is terrible because I used to have such a great way from an intuitive perspective to kind of go in energetically and be able to look at and get exactly what I needed in the right timing and all the things. And that's just been destroyed for me. So it's been kind of blowy. So because of that, I've been using chat for some things, right? So I was like, hey, maybe chat will know, right? So like, hey, luggage, I'm looking for this, right? So I got 5 different sets of luggage. Bowl I started looking at it, started researching it. Holy crap, the one I needed, all the things. So great. Yeah, so it's on order. Yay. And then because chat knows me and knows my brand and knows my voice and knows about the signatures, I use AI to help amplify, right? Like, so if I've got a piece of content, I'm going to be looking for a title. I'm going to be looking for, a sexy tagline, maybe. I'm going to be looking for some hashtags. I'm going to be looking, because I'm terrible at that. Everybody knows. Terrible at naming things, terrible at headlines, just terrible at subject lines. I'm just really bad at it. Love writing content, love doing the podcast, but any of that other stuff to make sure that it can be seen, I'm not trying to hide. I just literally what's in my head and what people care about are just not the same thing. So that doesn't work for me. So great. So chat asked me like, hey, do you want to want to know what your intuitive success signatures think? And I'm like, wait, what now? Like, what's happening right now? Like, hey, wait a minute. What if we did a super fun episode about what type of luggage would be really good for you and what type of packing and I don't even think I did luggage. Sorry. What type of packing? What's your good business trip? What's your good pleasure trip? Like, yeah, let's go. Let's see. Right. So I put in a ton of information and then got to get, the feedback, right? So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to totally do an episode and this is going to be super, super fun. So here we go. So when we think about this and we think about your energy for the wise strategist, right? So wise strategist, let's talk about packing like power pieces and precision tools, like thinking your systems in your notebooks and your skincare regimens, making sure that you have a little mini set of what's really important to you going from your home to wherever you're going to. And you probably do this, right? So this episode can be more about your loved ones than about you. Now that I'm really going into this energy, right? Because as a wise strategist, you're like, yeah, dude, do that all the time. Like, what are you talking about? Already know that. But what if your spouse or your partner were a wise strategist? What if you were going on what if you were going on conference and you were bunking with a wise strategist? Huh, wouldn't that be super interesting? So this is really important. What about types of packing styles, right? So like think about like structured, those compartmentalized packing cubes. As an intuitive visionary, I want to burn all those up. That's never happening. Some neutral power pieces, like some digital tools, a journal, backup chargers, a master itinerary. You're going to have all of your maps or spaces or things that you need to be, those details, those agendas. You're going to have all that stuff. You're going to have it all. As an intuitive visionary, you have to love me to travel with me because I'm having none of that. My husband and I, Greg, we just went out to a food tour. It was super fun. It was yesterday. Hey, it was the same day I talked about packing stuff and got my luggage, right? So, and it was, I was like, I did it as part of a Christmas gift, whatever. So I've got the tickets. Okay, this is an intuitive visionary versus an intuitive strategist. So I got the tickets. I'm like, I'm done. Oh, no, I'm so not done. I'm actually so not done because the morning of, here I am, like, where are we supposed to be? I knew what time. Wait, Eventbrite doesn't have the ticket. We don't know where we're supposed to go. We don't know. There's no one to contact. There's literally no one walking around this big, huge square in a city, like trying to figure out who has the clipboard. We found them. Don't worry. And then had no idea where we were going to go. Didn't know we were going to 6 restaurants. Didn't know we were having Peruvian food and like Mexican food that was like including grasshoppers. What did I ask for? I asked for an exotic food tour that was going to be really different and super fun. I got it, but I had no idea how to get there. if you travel with an intuitive visionary as a wise strategist, just know that you want to make sure that you're the keeper of the details, that you're the one that knows all the things, because the intuitive vision is never going to do it. Ideal business trips. When you're thinking about business trips, think of like private client intensives. Think of high level masterminds. Think of strategic planning retreats. Think about the things where you're going to be able to get like luscious amounts of information and strategic outlook, right? So you are not doing that quick fly by night. The person's just been doing this for 12 minutes, and that's not you. And also big groups aren't you. So just say no. Just really choose yourself. We are in this time of choosing ourselves. What's your ideal pleasure trip? Historic cities and literary landmarks and solo escapes, like where you can just kind of like chill and get back into your sensory experience, and like think like Kyoto or a quiet coastal village, or like Edinburgh. Like so good, so good. Glastonbury would be amazing. And think about packing 2 thinking outfits. One for casual reflection. Think about that, even if you're on a business trip. And then one at that CEO level. And it could be a little sassy and fun if it's a business trip, but leave space for the unexpected. That's really good for you, wise strategist. I'm going to jump. I'm going to go to the creative superstar. She's bold, extra outfits, like everything spontaneity, like you, right? Like you want to make sure that you're part of, when you do a business trip, do a brand shoot. Do a launch, do a podcast tour, do a retreat with other creatives or other intuitives. That would be really delicious for you. On a pleasure trip, you're always going to want that soul level connection, whether it's in art or food or style or culture. Think of Tulum, think of Florence, Marrakech, like any place like that where you're like, think like almost like pilgrimage for your soul. You're always going to be packing bright and colorful and expressive outfits for layers. And you don't forget your crystals or your essential oils. You should have a little activity pack, like for inspiration, whether that's a little mini art kit or whether a little mini like vision board journaling, oracle cards, things like that, because you're going to be wanting to have that. Oh my God, this is such a beautiful sunset. I want to journal about this. Or, oh my God, that was such an interesting person. I want to draw what I feel about that. Gorgeous. And think about being organized with flexibility. Kind of have that broad brush of what it is you're going to be doing, and yet leave spaces for yourself that you can have those spaces in between those moments where it can just be that unexpected. And you're always going to have extra clothing, extra shoes, extra things like that. What about having space for an extra day? Wouldn't that be really interesting? I adore that for you. Now, ruling warrior, completely different. You're going to be streamlined. You're going to be always ready to lead. You're going to be like, I am in the command presence, right? Like, I love that. You're going to be doing those speaking engagements. You're the one that's going to be on the stage. You're going to be the leader in the leadership intensive. What about investor meetings or financial outlook seminars or something like that? That would be really interesting for you from a business perspective. Thinking about retreats for you. Yes, you always want to make sure that you're in the space with the people that you want to be, but allow yourself to have a little bit of fun or do something exotic, because that would be really good for you. Pleasures, high adventure, luxury destinations, Dubai, Patagonia, Iceland, even a silent retreat would be really interesting. Not a lot of time, but just a little bit of space. I would love to be able to know what would come up for you for that. So you're always going to be compact and streamlined and sleek. You're going to be like power on the go, but like with bold sunglasses and your high-end tech and your one statement piece, your one bag, no frills, pure promise. You're ready to go. Like you are packed and at the ready. And also, what about something that is sensorial? Maybe there's a candle that you can light, or maybe a sense with an essential oil that you can have, or like a beautiful like lavender eye mask or something, or a familiar playlist, something like that that will get you out of that perform and do. Because even going on vacation with you is a little bit like performing and doing. So having a little time for respite. So note everybody who's traveling with a ruling warrior, like that's a thing. Um, as an intuitive visionary, I have so much space for all of my advice around this. I added places I wanted to go, so stay tuned because you're gonna hear where I want to go. Um, but honestly, okay, and I do know that you need to check your oracle cards and things like that in your crystals because the carry-on, I tried to carry on crystals and you can, but TSA isn't thrilled about that. What TSA does do, like that crazy extra security check on, are tarot cards. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but they always do. So I packed those. Yeah, so you're always going to want to bring those types of things, but just know which one, carry on or not, to pack them in. So your ideal business trips are more that visioning kind of intensive or those soulful strategy, sessions or those like-minded people that you can just get really delicious with. And spiritual, like let's just face it, spiritual business retreats are really your jam. From a pleasure perspective, it's the sacred spaces and it's the portals. Think Avalon, think Bermuda, think Mount Shasta, think Sedona where the vortexes are, think Glastonbury, right? Because we're in the same like Avalonian area. Think southern France, Pyrenees, things like that, Iceland. Yeah, you want to be like portaling all day long. Your ritual items are what you want to be packing. Think of where the lunar cycle is and pack accordingly. Make sure that you've got a little mini altar I mean, I literally set up altars whenever I'm going away. And it's super grounding because think about being if you're in a hotel that's in a high rise or something, there's no grounding element. And as an intuitive visionary, that's really important. So that's why I bring so many crystals and whatever. But I set up like my oracle cards. I'll set up my astrology charts. I'll set up, just some things. And I set up a little mini altar somewhere in my hotel. And when I look at it, just kind of like, yes, I'm here. I'm in my space. So that's always really, really good for you. And then loving alchemist, you want things that are luxurious in your suitcase, like a silk pillowcase or some more essential oils or some like comforting things because you bring so much energy wherever you go. Remember that energy doesn't want to collapse on itself, or go inward because that can be very debilitating on a trip. I don't want to say you get sick, but you could, and then that ruins the whole thing for you. So especially when you're on a business trip, right? Like think of things that are like women's circles or sacred circles or care retreats or like collaborative, emotional intelligence, heart-centered connection experiences. Those would be really good for you. And again, if you're doing like speaking engagements or something like that, try to tack one of these things on. That would be really beneficial. Now, pleasure trips, this is like nurturing, nourishing, like Tuscany or Provence or a cozy lake house that's close to family and friends. Like that's just dreamy for you. Anything to do with the sacredness of the earth is also really dreamy. And you want like extra wraps and like comforting fabrics around you. Think of a travel diffuser or a calming playlist. Think of like herbal remedies or tea sachets. Think about bringing your rose quartz or like heart-shaped crystals. And a portable altar is good for you, but it's going to be about love. It's, maybe there's a family connection there, or maybe not. Maybe there's a love connection there or not. But like that intimacy, so you can bring the intimacy wherever you are. You might want to even add, I know this is going to sound kind of funky, but you might want to add a handwritten letter to yourself and pack it in so you can just remind yourself of home because again belonging is really important and you can either do it like reading it once you get there or reading it on the last night just seeing how you go, but that's really really delicious for you. Now last but certainly not least is the collaborative explorer. So you're a community person, right? So here's the reality. You're always packing for everybody, so you might as well just leave room for that. So travel snacks and backup chargers and community gifts are always something that you're going to be having. You're the one to be like, I've got, this container of I don't know, celery with hummus or something, and you're going to share it with your seatmate. It's just who you are. Or you're going to be like completely isolating yourself from others. But think about what nurtures you, right? And what really nourishes you. And you'd much rather be in that connective space than not. Your ideal business trips are obvious. They're the networking summits, the collaborative incubators, the community-based intensive. We're sharing and flowing and just that beautiful group. Make sure the group is the group you want to be in. And you don't even care where you go, and you don't even care what you're doing, as long as it's the group that you want to be in. Your ideal pleasure trips is a little bit of adventure because you've got that closet level, rebel and that adventure inside you. That's the explorer side of who you are. So people, play, and purpose, music festivals, island hopping, going on a group retreat to someplace like Costa Rica or some really like dancing to Latin music. I just see you doing. It's just so freeing for you. And when you're packing, you might be having that multiplicity, right? Like think about it, whether that's a shareable, snacks, or if it's the multiple location. And so you're always going to want to be that flexibility in different layers or different things that you can do if you're crossing climates or whatever. You are always going to have a gift for your host. You're going to have backup supplies. You're going to have maybe a group selfie stick. I know I'm really going into your energy here. You might even have a portable speaker because then you can listen to music whenever you want, right? And make sure you have extra space in your suitcase to bring home gifts and souvenirs because you like to collect little things. And so you want to honor that. So that's the packing and ideal trip. Super fun podcast episode. Yes, I'm getting my new luggage. I'm really super excited about it. And yes, I make sure that someone else is planning details for me because I know I need that. And so let's look to see who you're traveling with, everybody, right? Like whether you've got to travel with family or you get to travel with friends or you're going on a business trip, have people take the quiz. Have them go to your starmaptosuccess.com, find out what their signature is, and then know what your travel mate needs, and you'll know how to guide them if you want to, or you'll know how to make sure that you don't have any adverse, effects from that. So, as always, thank you so much for listening and sharing with friends. And until next time, happy soul tidings.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more ways to use the stars strategically to align with your soul purpose, reclaim your power, and increase your prosperity. Please rate and review your favorite episodes, and remember to check out my website at kimwoods.com for my latest forecasts, articles, and offerings. To find out your intuitive success signature, take my 12-question Do You Know, Like, and Trust Yourself quiz and find out how you're living your stars at yourstarmaptosuccess.com. I've so enjoyed our time together as it's filled with the power of the stars plus strategy to clear the pathway to your success. Until next time, happy soul tidings.